Javier Milei wants to turn Argentina into a Silicon Valley, and Google offered him AI to modernize the state. China's CNGR looks to snap up more lithium projects in Argentina. China advances in negotiations for Brazil to enter the global belt, and Trump attacks devil judge for guilty verdict, practically begging for incarceration, expert says. Scotland's top law officer urged to pursue investigation into Donald Trump's Scottish resorts after historic criminal conviction. In the U.S., 8 Senate Republicans vow to oppose all Biden nominees' Democratic legislation. Donald Trump says U.S. is a fascist state and trial judge a devil. Republican lawmakers react with fury to Trump verdict and rally to his defense, as Johnson urges Supreme Court to step in on Trump verdict. Biden calls Trump response to guilty verdict reckless, dangerous at White House.
In the U.S., Supreme Court revives NRA's lawsuit alleging that New York violated its First Amendment rights. Texas Supreme Court rejects challenge to state's abortion law over medical exceptions.
Reportedly, up to 2 million Palestinians will be able to request asylum in Spain as the government accuses Israel of genocide. Saudi textbooks remove Palestine from most maps, says Israeli study. Maldives bans Israeli passport holders over war on Gaza. Jacob Zuma's new party emerges a big winner in South Africa vote. In the U.S., Democratic Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia registers as independent, citing partisan extremism. Brazilian Vice President visiting China for week of meetings on trade, infrastructure, climate change. Hillary Clinton hawks, she was right about everything, mugs after Trump conviction. Trump claims he didn't say lock her up about Hillary Clinton. Florida law makes it likely that Trump will retain voting rights despite conviction.
Hunter Biden to go on trial in gun case, days after Trump was convicted. Trump warns of breaking point for Americans if he's jailed, and after trying to ban TikTok in the US, Trump joins the app with an eye on the presidential campaign. McCarthy says Americans should accept 2024 presidential election results.
Fidesz sends letter in Chinese, showing recipients how to vote. Riverside County Sheriff says he's ready to put a felon in the White House, as Donald Trump is banned from 37 countries as convicted felon, including major allies like Canada and UK. Majority of independents and double haters think Trump should end 2024 campaign, as per a poll. Comparison of the U.S. elections 2020 and 2024, Donald Trump vows revenge.
South Africa quietly excludes citizens in Israel from voting amid growing tensions. Egypt arrests more than 100 due to Gaza solidarity. France bans Israeli companies from major weapons show over Rafah assault. Biden says every reason to believe Netanyahu is prolonging war for political gain, as reportedly, Biden bid to end Gaza war falters as Israel and Hamas push back. Hamas wants Israel to commit to permanent ceasefire, full withdrawal from Gaza. Hamas may have moved hostages to Egypt via tunnels, former IDF deputy chief says, and Israel nears decision on Lebanon border offensive, Army chief says.
Biden prepares an order that would shut down asylum if a daily average of 2,500 migrants arrive, and Biden signs order to limit migrants crossing Mexico border, where blames Trump, GOP for leaving him no choice on asylum order. Majority of independents and double haters think Trump should end 2024 campaign. As per a poll, comparison of the U.S. elections 2020 and 2024, Donald Trump vows revenge.
In Gaza Strip, all hospitals in Rafah, relentlessly bombed, are now out of service. Israeli newspaper Haaretz is censored by the government and publishes text with stripes. New York hospital fires nurse after calling Gaza war a genocide in speech.
Crypto bettors lay 17% odds on Donald Trump in jail before Election Day. In Donald Trump's criminal trial, we will appeal this scam, assures the former president.
Biden reveals Israel's proposal for Gaza ceasefire, Hamas positive. Israel confirms its forces are in central Rafah and expanding offensive in the southern Gaza city.
Russia's former president Medvedev threatens George Clooney with torture. Recently Clooney Foundation for Justice calls on EU, ICC to arrest Russian journalists. France arrests 3 after coffins left at Eiffel Tower. Britain, France and Norway search for Russian submarine off Ireland.
In response to U.S. pressure, Israel alters Rafah military strategy to avoid further escalation, and Biden's Gaza plan. Not a good deal, but Israel accepts it, Netanyahu aide says. Iran's hardline former president Mahmoud Ahmadinejad registers for June 28 presidential election. Ukraine recognizes Israel and Palestine, seeks to end conflict, says Ukrainian president.
Korea's outcry. Recently, North Korea sent 600 more trash-filled balloons over border. China's new aircraft carrier pushes India, Japan, South Korea to upgrade as source of anxiety. Claudia Sheinbaum wins election to become Mexico's first woman, first Jewish president.
Zelensky says China, working hard to stop countries from attending peace summit. Ukraine's Zelensky makes surprise stop in Philippines to meet Marcos Jr. Chinese state media says Philippine troops pointed guns at coast guards near disputed South China Sea reef.
Taiwan president says Tiananmen crackdown will never be forgotten. Angry at Yasukuni Shrine, toilet, graffiti, Japan man posts $64,000 bounty for vandals' arrest. Philippine Marines drew firearms as China sees second Thomas Shoal airdrop, says Philippine military chief.
Death of a Filipino in South China Sea clashes would be very close to act of war, Philippines leader warns. China's defense ministry condemns U.S. missile deployment in Philippines. Mainland China suspends tariff arrangements on 134 items under Taiwan trade deal.
Bernie Sanders says he will boycott congressional address of war criminal Netanyahu. After publishing an article critical of Israel, Columbia Law Review's website is shut down by board. In France, left-wing deputies dressed in Palestinian colors at the National Assembly.
To take on justice system following Trump conviction, and GOP senators warn judge against sentencing Trump to prison. Wisconsin Attorney General files felony charges against it.
Russian disinformation group, known by Microsoft as Storm 1679, uses fake Tom Cruise Netflix documentary to disrupt Paris Olympics. Russia gave millions to far-right politicians via fake news site, claimed in a report. In Canada, government won't commit to releasing names of MPs who allegedly conspired with foreign actors.
Deepfake of U.S. official appears after shift on Ukraine attacks in Russia. Ukraine claims it hit missile system in Russian territory with Western weapons. Poland announces plans for €700 million cyber shield amid cyber war with Russia. White House announced Ukraine can shoot down hostile aircraft over Russia. Potential escalation unlikely if Ukraine utilizes Western weapons against Russian aircraft over Russian territory, commented in Bundestag. EU has no evidence of China supplying weapons to Russia, announced Borrell.
Thousands of Ukrainian prisoners apply to join army in return for parole. We are not keeping pace with Russia. Radoslaw Sikorski alerts NATO countries. We have no plan B if Ukraine falls, says Estonian PM Korlis.
In the U.S., retired Navy four-star admiral and business executives arrested for bribery scheme. Former Deutsche Bank investment banker gets 41 months prison in crypto fraud. Canadian serial killer Robert Pickton, who brought victims to pig farm, is dead after prison assault.
In Malaysia, stricter enforcement of drone registration, permission to fly by Q3 2025, says Civil Aviation Chief. Jail time for those caught distributing deepfake porn under new Australian laws. Chile President Gabriel Boric lays out plans to legalize abortion and euthanasia.
Honda wants to make its own hypercar with F1 tech. Emirates boss says Boeing needs strong CEO to end crisis. Sony will use AI to cut film costs, says CEO Tony Vinciquerra.
China says couple who worked in central government spied for UK. Chinese grad student charged with espionage for drone photos of U.S. Navy shipyards. China defense chief says Beijing ready to forcefully stop Taiwan independence.
In the U.S., Twitter supersharers of fake news tend to be older Republican women. The Telegraph comments as, with Ukraine's resources, Putin would be unstoppable. Russia-China gas pipeline deal stalls over Beijing's price demands. China's tourists to spend nearly $1 trillion on holidays at home. In Spain, workers who earn less than €1,350 will be able to collect unemployment benefits and their salary at the same time. Grayscale's survey shows 47% of U.S. voters want crypto in their portfolio. Crypto exchanges see $3 billion Ethereum exit since ETF approvals.
Bitpanda drafts Deutsche Bank to process fiat transactions in Germany. Thailand approves first spot Bitcoin exchange traded fund. Japanese exchange DMM plans to raise $320 million and buy Bitcoin after hack. FTX wants to pay the IRS $200 million instead of $24 billion in tax liabilities. Yet FTX secretly gave $17.5 million to Aussie crypto influencer who lost other people's millions. Insider trading claims rock celebrity Iggy Azalea's new meme-coin. Europol shuts down malware dropper ring, linked to at least $75 million in stolen crypto. Convicted FTX exec Ryan Salami may serve shorter sentence because of substance abuse. Franklin Templeton files updated S1 form for its Ethereum ETF. Discloses 0.19% fee.
System. Tether acquires $100 million stake in Jihan Wu's BTC mining firm Bitdeer. Matter Labs' zero-knowledge trademark bid sparks industry backlash.
Over $300 million in Bitcoin stolen from Japanese exchange DMM Bitcoin. Binance founder CZ begins 4 months prison sentence as the country's richest inmate. 1 month ago, former Binance CEO sentenced to 4 months in U.S. prison for money laundering violations. Apple partnership rumor causes JASMY altcoin to rise by 20%.